the reports Afa has passed on. The Wild Samoan, obviously, we know we lost Sika a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 months ago now. Both of the Wild Samoans have passed. So big condolences out.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
Big condolences out to Samu and Lance, who both trained me when I in the very school that Afa Senior had founded, the Wild Samoan Wrestling Academy. I was able to train, so I have a little bit of a connection there, and the Anoai family, particularly Samu and Lance and Michelle, Samu's wife. Just want to say very condolences to them and everyone else in the Anoai bloodline and the Anoai family. Really great people. I wish I did more with them in terms of working with them, but just God rest your soul. Afa, thank you so much for everything you did. First 2-time tag team champions. Woo.
Wow.
Wild
Now
Samoans.
you're catching me off guard, man. I totally didn't realize that this just happened. So yeah, my deepest condolences as well. I mean, that was a tag team, one of the first tag teams I recalled, and they scared the hell out of me, honestly, as a kid. And they were incredible. And they definitely have an incredible lineage to the future here now, especially. And it's very sad news. Sorry to hear this.
And they have as we said before, Afa Senior and Afa Junior now is running Battleground Pro Wrestling in Eastern Pennsylvania. So the Anoa'i legacy does continue. Lance Anoa'i is one of the most popular indie wrestlers right now, and Samu should be in the Hall of Fame. He's only the second 3-time tag team champion in WWE history. Prior to the Smoking Guns, it was Demolition and then the Head Shrinkers, and obviously they had a great run with Paulie Dangerously as a Samoan SWAT team. So a lot of great things there from the Anoa'i family, particularly in this tag team wrestling. So. It's wild how the Wild Samoans, no pun intended, it's wild how they both kind of checked out within a couple months of each other.
It is crazy. Yeah, I'm totally just very surprised, and it just it's sad, but then it's, I don't know, beautifully ironic in ways too that they would both leave this realm within a few weeks of each other too. So, man, it's amazing. But definitely my deepest condolences to their entire family, and it's sad. It really is.
Hi, Sponsored Cheap Pops. You're on the air. Let's just go. Hi, Sponsored Cheap Pops, ladies and gentlemen. Our summer of hiatus continues to roll on. We haven't put out the content that we usually do, but you know what? We are still here, and we're going to have a whole reboot, getting ready for some huge pay-per-views coming up. All In is next on the list. We got Bash in Berlin. We just got through SummerSlam, and Vladi Dottie, we are back talking the very best in professional wrestling today. Even better than Dave LaGreca. Dude, did you see him? I think we might have talked about it already, but what a whack job.
I didn't see the video you mentioned yet, but you had quite a reaction to it.
It was the fans. It was the fans that did the Tony there. It was the fans, not The Rock. This is ridiculous. It's The Rock. Fuck you, Rock. You raped my mother.
Oh,
that part out. He kind of sounds like he got raped, but he raped his mother the way he talks about The Rock. Holy cow. Them in Wrestle Talk. They hate
that's the pink robe promo, right?
Oh, no, that was a new one. The new one where
really?
they talked about the YouTube documentary about how they changed the story of WrestleMania 40. And he went nuts. Bully Ray looked like he wanted to shoot himself in the face listening to this dork. He's like foaming at the mouth. God bless him. God bless him. But we're not going to talk about too much of Dave LaGreca today, Vladi Dottie. We're talking about some of the biggest moments in pro wrestling history that we are living through at the moment. And how can we start with anything but the Tribal Chief making his magnificent comeback at SummerSlam in a Bloodlines rule match? Your reaction to SummerSlam? I know we're about a week and a half out from SummerSlam, but your reaction to the Tribal Chief returning to SummerSlam and then his subsequent return on SmackDown.
You know what? The in terms of SummerSlam, very storyline like centric, if you will, especially everything leading towards the destruction of Judgment Day or the rebirth of it, whatever you want to call it at this point. Um, and they're tying up some loose ends here, and overall, it was okay. It was a pretty good pay per view. Offhand, I'm trying to remember some of the matches that stuck out. Oh, you know what? I will say this. I did cherry pick a few matches there. One of them I did watch, of course, was the LA Knight versus Logan Paul match. I, of course, was very happy with the decision and what happened there. But I will say this, man, that springboard moonsault that Logan Paul hit in that match, one of the more impressive moves I've ever seen. It's amazing what he does. Holy shit.
Hey, he's the best luchador in WWE.
Beyond that, I wouldn't call him a luchador.
He's a good celebrity. This is the thing with Logan Paul, and look, he's impressive. As a professional wrestler, you have to respect him, but he is not a guy that can go up and down the towns. He's not a guy that can go out and do a G1. He's not a guy that can go out and have a 45-minute classic. He's protected in every way. He's very athletic, and he has balls the size of Texas, and he doesn't mind doing some things. And so God bless him. And it was he's very athletic, but he's kind of a one-trick pony in terms of his in-ring performing, though, isn't he?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I would say that I mean, he's pulling off moves some guys only wish they could do. So, like, to call him a one-trick pony, where, like, no, I don't know of many wrestlers, hardly any, that could do that moonsault that he hit
That's true. I just hate this
so
guy. I just think
cleanly.
he's such a
But no,
piece of trash as a
I
person.
get it. I mean, he's working. He's definitely, working you the way he should. He's getting the response that they would love and expect. Excuse me. But and then thing is too. And again, I'm not a fan of his. I was more than pleased that LA Knight won, but I'm like, this guy continues to hit certain moves that really just elevates him. And if he ever decides to become like more of a, say, if he gave it a year, like where maybe not he's doing every house show, but at least almost every TV show, like or every Raw, whatever you will. And if he does that and really shows and grows with basically the industry, it'd be impressive. I understand he's very easy to hate, um,
He's a
and for all the
moron and
right
a douche.
reasons.
He's just a moron and a
He's a douche.
douchebag.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. He's a douchebag with a lot of money. And I gotta say, one of the things that Dominic Mysterio sort of scored some points with me. He was on Impulsive, and he
Called out for
sort of
Japan shit. Yeah.
that I was like, holy, he's busting his balls right now. I thought it was great.
And was Logan Paul really annoyed while
It seemed
his
that way.
while his jerk off friend was laughing at him?
Yeah, that was the thing. It was like I had prior commitments. I couldn't go. No, you're not really welcome there. First of all, Logan. So it was like it was sort of funny, like to see him Dominic's face, and I'm like, this guy, he's like so busting this billionaire's balls right now. It's great. So I got to give it to Dominic. He scored a couple more points with me. Interesting with Dominic for for what happened there with Rhea and Liv Morgan. It's amazing to see a heel turn even more heel. It's not often you see that.
Well, he finally got his first pop the week before when he essentially took Rhea Ripley over Liv Morgan, seemingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we all knew that was coming. That was the thing about SummerSlam. Before we get into fully Roman Reigns, I will say this about SummerSlam: it was a good pay-per-view, but there were absolutely zero surprises. Like everything that happened, we knew was going to happen. Roman coming back, the Judgment Day turns, Damian Priest losing the title. You were right about. I thought CM Punk was not going to lose his first singles match back. You were right. I was wrong. Now you're up by 4. So the purple nurple's a fait accompli unless somehow I beat you by 5 matches at All In, which I think was going to be when we end it. But there wasn't a lot of big surprises. It wasn't a lot of big surprises at SummerSlam, but it still was great. What's up?
Purple Perennium.
You can call it whatever you want, sir.
Yeah. I gotta bring this up to you.
Yeah.
I went back and you can check me on this, and I gotta find my notes on this. But since Double or Nothing, I'm up 9 matches on you.
Okay.
9.
Oh, because you won by 5. Well, yeah, well, double nothing isn't part of this situation, right? So,
Well, no, since that, every pay-per-view,
well, you,
I
you
like
can
in
go
another.
back to the previous quarter. I get that. But yes,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
and
yeah.
by the way, I
Yeah.
think you've gone undefeated 2 of the last 3 pay-per-views. You've been on fire. This isn't
In
about
Fuego.
my bad. I was 5-2 at SummerSlam. I didn't get killed. I did a good job, but you were 7-0. And I think
Crazy.
I think at the AEW pay-per-view, you were 19-2, and I was because they have 21 matches in a
It's like
fucking.
you can really pick up a lot of ground with an AEW pay-per-view, by the way, when you're
You,
doing picks.
you really can. You really, really can.
Holy shit.
Triple H stone shaded him again after SummerSlam. Oh, these long pay-per-views. Well, I didn't mean AEW. I know you guys are thinking it. Yeah, I did.
Wink, wink. WrestleMania, London. See you later.
Just whatever about a stupid door. It's silly and stupid idea to call it a door. Just stupid. The biggest problem with AEW continues to be that Vince McMahon is not running the WWE creative anymore. That is the biggest problem in AEW.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem because Tony Khan looked like a genius against old man Vince.
And then now that the game is in town, it's not really going that way.
No, no, no. But either way,
Yeah.
so but SummerSlam was good. Tribal
Yeah.
Chief
And
came back to a monster
yep.
pop. Your thoughts though on the Tribal Chief coming back?
I thought it was a cool segment there, and they're just adding. They're just taking their time with this whole story, man. Because I look at it, this is another chapter in this huge epic book that they got going. This huge movie that they have going on,
Yeah.
where you have the return of Roman in this match between Cody and Solo, where they basically, what's the rules match, or was it the Bloodline rules?
Bloodline
So,
rules.
and what's great is the way they played it off. You had the interaction or the interference with Orton and Owens, and then you got Tama, and then his brother there as well, who can't do anything correct. By the way, he can't even hold
Wow.
a title in the correct manner. Everything he does, I don't know if it's a rib at this point against us or what, but it's like one of the Three Stooges out there.
He screws something up every time he does a
Yeah,
run in. Every single time he does a run in, he either looks awkward, he hits his brother in the freaking head going for a low blow, or he just
yeah,
hits Kevin Owens in the butt going for a low blow, or he misses pulling the referee out on time when his debut. He did something else that was ridiculous. And I like Tonga Lao. I really do.
yeah,
I followed him in New Japan for years, but he has been an absolute disaster. And he's been
yeah,
embarrassing to an otherwise pristine, almost pristine
yeah,
storyline with some of the greatest people ever that'll ever be wrestlers that have been involved in terms of Paul Heyman, in terms of what he brings to the table, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Usos, even his brother and Jacob Fatu. And then there's Tonga Lao, dopey ass Tonga Lao, who can't do a simple run in without screwing it up.
yeah. He keeps you on the edge of your seat. I got to give him that. I'm just waiting for him to drop the ball. He's like literally the Shemp of the bloodline.
Oh my goodness.
I
He's
mean,
like,
my God. Go ahead.
no, he's kind of similar how it reminded me, but this is purely on performance, but it reminded me when, Solo and Roman would look all pissed off and Jimmy was all like goofy, like, haha.
Yeah,
Tonga Lao is kind of like the three in a similar fashion, but just by his inability to execute his simple run-ins, he's like the less than out of the three from the Lion King, the three hyenas. He's like the
yes,
real stupid one. That's who
yeah,
Tonga Lao is, and it's a disaster. It's like,
yeah.
is he a tag team champion now? Because
No, well,
Jacob
then it's
Fatu's
him.
out.
It's Tama and Jacob. Well, actually, you're great. Yeah, you're right, because with Jacob being injured, of course. But which brings us right back to, of course, this match, and how things evolved, where Owens and Orton went into the crowd and left with Tama and Tonga, and basically it opens up the door for Jacob Fatu to come out to go and help Solo. He goes and stretches Cody out on that table, goes and hits the splash off the top rope, hits it beautifully, and then sells the one of the greater injuries that the way he did it was great. I know you went back and rewatched it. I went and watched it once, but after you watched it twice, I knew what to look for. It played it off great, man.
Yeah,
And it's
brilliant.
perfect. It's perfect on a couple of different levels in that it's keeping Jacob away from Solo, where that's going to be a major moment.
Oh, Jacob and Roman. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for correction.
No, you're good.
Jacob and Roman, and basically that when that happens, man, you're going to feel the energy in that crowd starting to bubble and boil over, and it's going to be something to behold for sure. And the other thing is too, with this quote unquote injury, they have a bunch of dates, mainly especially with this event in Berlin. There's still a question about his ability to go travel international. So that's involved here too. So if maybe Germany was a little bit more strict, they're like, oh hell no, we don't want this guy in our country. Well, then okay, you know what? You're gonna go and play this off for a little bit, and then we'll see after we return.
WWE, if they want to spend enough money to get someone in a country, they're big enough at this point in time. All they got to do is shell out a certain amount of money to a country. Let them on in.
Well, it worked in Canada. I don't know what the German situation is. Yeah, maybe the asking price was a little bit too steep. But basically, you had a situation with then Roman coming out to a huge pop during this match after Cody gets hit. And you also brought up a great detail. Remember what Jacob was yelling to Solo? It was basically
Yes,
the same thing with
exactly.
Solo.
He was saying the same exact thing that Solo was saying to Roman at WrestleMania 40. Finish him. Let's go.
Right.
Finish him. And Jacob Fatu to me is so popular already, and they have Hikea Lowell in the near damn near 7 foot tall Samoan waiting in the wings. Plus you have Zilla Fatu who's out there.
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu might be a guy that might be a member of the babyface bloodline. He really might. I think that we're not too far away. They're already stoking seeds of Solo when he first rose to power as this fake tribal chief. The not Samantha, or what's her name? Redmond's Samantha Redmond. Is that her name?
Yes.
The Redmond woman. She's great, by the way. I think she's very talented. I feel bad I'm forgetting her first name. But she had asked Solo about Jacob. Instead of asking Solo about anything about him, the first question was about Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Solo was visibly annoyed by that.
Yeah.
So they're planting seeds already for Jacob Fatu. Cody Rhodes referenced it this past Friday. You're the reason Jacob Fatu got hurt. And it definitely was a work. And it's still fooling people. I mean, Stevie Richards had a whole thing about how Jacob Fatu hurt himself and what went wrong. Has a whole video on it. This guy's a former wrestler.
Yeah.
This was definitely a work. It was 100% a work. Because if he wasn't, how the hell's my man can't stand up? Yet he's in a walking boot, 5 hours later, walking fine. In a walking boot. Come on. They did a great job with it. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think you're going to have that moment with Roman and Jacob. I think they have a moment of respect. And I think Jacob Fatu, I don't know if it'll be by War Games, but I think Jacob Fatu is going to be a baby face in this saga that we know as the Bloodline Civil War.
Yeah, I think I'm going a different route. He's going to be the right hand of the final boss. My feeling. He's gonna like destroy Solo in ways too.
You think Solo turns babyface at the end of this?
I think they're setting Solo up to be probably reunited with his brothers at some point, along with Roman.
I'm not all in on Solo. He's done an okay job, but he's
improved.
He has improved. His promos have improved. I still don't think his matches are very good. They're kind of ho-hum.
They're better than Jey Uso's matches of late, I've noticed.
Who's?
Jey. Eat.
He sucks too.
That's what I'm saying. I think Solo's like probably one of the better ones out of the Usos right now.
Well, Jey Uso's still way over though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't buy Solo as a main eventer. I don't buy Jey Uso as a main eventer either. I don't think either one of them are main event talents. I have to be honest.
So yeah, basically Roman returns, and it's like a moment where it's it's a crossroads. Not to be it's so ironic, but what's Roman going to do with Cody?
A
What's Roman's
crossroads? Are you
a
talking about a
crossroad?
crossroads? I have crossroads. I do a crossroads. You know that.
You tend to do three of them.
I do. That's when I win the big matches. I do three of them. Solo only had to get one because Roman hit him with a spear. And then he
So
looked at me and winked. I think he thinks I'm cute.
I think you might be right. He might be sweet on you.
He's sweet on the sexy roads. I'm certainly more attractive than my fat father and my pseudo gay brother. Ask Ahmed Johnson about him. Anyway,
So yeah, Roman
you're right.
returns.
That it was a really cool moment between
Yeah.
Roman and Cody, with Roman kind of shaking his head like, and
Yeah.
and Cody's come out and said it. He said he's going to give Roman a rematch. It has to happen. I just don't know where the Rock start fits into all this. I really don't. And do you have a triple threat match with it, with the Rock and Roman and Cody at some point? I don't know. It's going to be
That
very
would.
interesting. There's a lot of ways Triple H can go heading into WrestleMania, because once you get to Survivor Series, then you kind of start seeing you kind of see where everything's headed for WrestleMania, and then,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to think like if you were building, the Rocks or the Final Bosses side of this army, like the first draft pick would be, my opinion, Jacob. Like sliding Jacob over to Roman's side, it's like really top heavy to me at that point in terms of this battle.
yeah,
I
you got a
I,
point there.
I
You need a heavy hitter in that, unless
yeah,
Hikuleo, but Hikuleo is tall, but he's not
right.
physically impressive otherwise.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and it's imposing out there, but he's no like nobody really is Jacob Fatu. I got to say, and it's obvious. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I almost like the idea of the old school bloodline with Sammy involved as well
Yeah, and
against
they're
this
planting the
new.
seeds, and they're
Yeah,
planting the seeds
yeah,
with Sammy and Jay on Raw as well.
yeah,
Like they're getting back together.
yeah. Which is, it's great. And honestly, I hope they can catch some of that lightning in the bottle, especially with Sammy. If he's like openly just a babyface bloodline here with Roman for a little bit, and he's sort of basically cracking up Jimmy and Jay once again. I'm all for it. I could deal with that again.
Yeah,
So yeah, and then you also got to mention the return pop and just like the social media numbers that were involved as Roman returned. Everybody wanted it. They needed it at this point in the story, and here he is. So I'm looking forward to the next few chapters in the story for sure.
they were cheesy on SmackDown though. I thought I was getting a Roman promo. Nope.
Now,
Just came out and fought again. It was like, I
and
waited
it's
two
it was
hours for this shit. You know.
and it's what, it's a little ironic too. It's like one of these things where Roman picks up, the I don't want to be disrespectful, but I forget what the lay is called, that is used there, and it's like that was something that he's like pondering, and he's like thinking. You see that he's annoyed that Solo was wearing this, and this his true indication that he's achieved. And then
Yeah.
on the other show, you got Punk with his bracelet, and I'm like, it's just like I don't know, there's little slight similarities here. I'm like, what's with these like symbols of things versus like I don't know, just I don't know if it'll work back in the day of like Flair or whatever.
Well,
Flair
the
would be
thing
like,
with Punks is it's only a stupid friendship bracelet that his niece probably made for him, and it's his dog, and he tries to equate his dog as a child. He has my dog's name on a bracelet.
well, his wife's name's on it too, but still, it's like that was one of the things where we're taking a weird I'm taking a weird segue from Roman to Punk, but that's one of the weird things with this feud between Punk and Rollins and McIntyre where they worked this bracelet in. And I don't know. Is there anything else? I'd rather, there's got to be even something just verbally, something that they're each other's throats, and then just it makes more sense. But and then they were playing hot potato basically with the bracelet during the match in which Rollins was the ref at the last pay per view.
It was entertaining though. It did its job. Punk did
Yeah,
not look as bad as I thought he was going to.
yeah.
He didn't look great either. He's not. Again, he's not.
I
But
he Can I
McIntyre
say
looked good.
this?
Made him look good.
He slightly surpassed my expectations. And I think part of it was the pace of it that helped him. They're telling a story. He's working it that way, and that was the thing. He's going to have to do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious at this point. But I was like, wow, like physically, he looked pretty good. He looked healthy. Like he was like pretty much a little bit more bulked up to kind of like have that visual with McIntyre, especially because I mean that guy's just like an
Monster.
Adonis out there. Yeah. So I thought in that realm it was a cool sort of match there, and I just love how they hate each other. I can't even tell you honestly. It's hard for me to tell you who I'm rooting for more at times.
I'm rooting for
McIntyre will
McIntyre
say,
every step of the
"Oh yeah,
way.
yeah," and then Punk comes back, and I'm like, "Okay, that was pretty good," and I'm like, I'm going back and forth, but overall, I'm just enjoying the feud.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been great. And look, they're not done yet either. I mean,
Now,
they're gonna have a continuation of what it, of another. They'll probably have another gimmick match coming up. Punk will probably win that, and then they'll have their rubber
it's going to
match
be
sometime.
a strap match in Berlin.
Yeah. How about a dog collar match?
We could have MJF as a special ref.
Oh my. No, look, you got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. It was, I guess Seth Rollins is hurt. You were saying he's dealing with
Yeah,
some injuries, so it was a good way to get him a payday and survive at SummerSlam. He didn't have to do a lot. All he had to do is to essentially just take a GTS.
yeah.
But Punk is kind of I don't know. I don't get this why he's so angry over a bracelet. I could get why Drew McIntyre is so pissed off. He cost him 3 world championship opportunities. Fucking Punk's like, ooh, a 40-cent bracelet. I mean, what if he means AJ Styles and Larry David? Who knows who he means? Stupid Punk. You got a bracelet with my dog on it. Nerd.
Now it's personal. No, Punk, it got personal when you robbed this guy of 3 world titles.
Yeah, it got personal when you tried to bury him when he was coming up.
Oh, see, that's to be debated. Here we go.
No, Drew McIntyre. He was doing a shoot interview, and I believe it was for SummerSlam. It was actually with the great Sam Roberts, who I actually like. I'll put Sam Roberts over. A little bit of a WWE homer, but he doesn't do it in a way that it's phony. So, and Drew McIntyre came out and said, yeah, when I was coming up, he did a lot of things that just didn't work, really kind of held me back. And I'm not going to get, one day I'll probably tell those stories, but I'm not going to tell them now. And like, there's something real there, unless he's working Sam Roberts in that instance, which he could be doing. Maybe he's embellishing a little bit, but there is definitely something there for sure. And he's
But isn't
best
it
friends with Jack
refreshing?
Perry too, apparently, Drew McIntyre. So,
I think yeah, they were at an amusement park together, and he was just helping him get on rides where he could.
oh,
Um, so, but yeah, but what I do like, isn't it refreshing that these two guys have a beef with each other and they can still work and basically create a great feud without, even having all that many matches due to injury.
no,
It's
I mean,
still,
again,
still,
we're only having one match in this
yeah,
storyline between the two. We're talking about an 8-month storyline already.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this has ever really happened before like this. I mean, it's great.
It just shows you the genius of what Triple H does and how he protects his talent and gives his talent the best opportunity to shine. Same thing that they do with Logan Paul. They protect Logan Paul so he looks like $1 million out there. It's smart, and it's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make your stars look bigger than they actually are. You're supposed to make them look like superheroes. So it's smart. It's very smart. And again, I'm looking forward to how this continues to evolve in this storyline. The other part of SummerSlam I wanted to get into, and this is a good segue to our next segment. Damian Priest had his best match as a world champion against
Yeah.
Gunther. What a great match that was. Probably my favorite match of the night.
Yeah. It was hell of a match, man.
Good finish. They
Yep.
utilized the storyline within the Judgment Day to do so.
Yep.
And I think Damian Priest has kind of turned a corner with his babyface turn, where maybe he can be a top draw and a top guy. He's getting
Uh,
big ovations, getting big spots. Gunther made him look great
yeah.
as well. Gunther looks great.
Yep.
That match did everything that it needed to do, and then you're setting it up for a couple of leprechauns, a Jersey girl, Eddie Guerrero's kid, and the Cologne reject. Makes your new Judgment Day great.
You get your Wish Razor Ramon in there too.
Hey yeah, exactly. That's who the reject Cologne is. Carlos
Yeah.
Cologne's.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sort of funny how it all panned out, but in terms of Damien, especially if he just teams up with Rhea, just they're two imposing figures. They got history. They're actually friends off, in real life as well. So it's intriguing to see where this is leading to with them, especially after the aftermath of SummerSlam. So, but Priest definitely had a great match, and you know what? It did show off Finn to be this a little bit of a sinister. I don't want to call him mastermind, but he's a guy who could scheme a game plan at least. So um, and I don't know, like one thing. Let me ask you in terms of Finn and Liv and Dominic. You think there's any chance that eventually it'll be like Liv and Finn, or like they play Dominic as well to get one up over them? Is that a possibility, or you think it's just it's gonna be Dominic and Liv?
I was thinking that originally because he took that key,
Yeah,
but Dominic is so hated right now and he is so despised. I can't ever see a situation where Dominic would be cheered over somebody over
right.
that situation. Then again, he was kind of cheered over Rhea Ripley. That's with Rhea Ripley when he sided with her, but the crowd really wants to hate Dominic more so than I think a lot of people still have this like Finn Balor, cool guy, NXT champion, Bullet Club, original Bullet Club leader, indie darling underdog who was the first Universal Champion, hasn't gotten a sniff of a world championship since.
Yeah,
I don't know if Finn Balor's a main event talent in today's WWE. I don't think he
it's
is.
difficult.
I don't think he's
Yeah,
even close. This is going to be a very big feud for him between him and Priest. But Dominic and Liv seem like they're taking center stage over all this,
yeah.
opposed to Finn Balor. And also, he's a tag team champion with another short Irish guy who's a great
Bumps.
worker, by the way. JD
Yes,
McDonough is a phenomenal worker. I'm not talking any shit on JD McDonough, but they kind of look
he's great.
alike.
Yeah,
I just don't see Finn Balor as a main eventer at this point in time. And God bless him. I know you were a huge NXT guy when he was on top.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, we said he was the original rock and roller, the original Bullet Club leader. He came up with the idea of the Bullet Club. So Finn had, but that's over 11 years ago now. And I don't know if
Yeah.
Finn at his age now, I don't think he's main event material. I don't, and I certainly don't think anyone else in the Judgment Day is. I
No,
really don't.
no. No, and they're more of the mid card region, I'd say, of the show, and you know what? It's not bad for that realm for them by any means, but yeah, I don't want to pretend and be like, oh yeah, Finn could go up there against Roman, Cody, whoever else you want to name from the upper echelon, Gunther. Like there'd be no reason.
Yeah, no. So we'll see how that goes. But I again, the new Bloodline and outside of Jacob Fatu and the new Judgment Day are shells of the former
Yeah,
factions. Let's be real for a second.
yeah,
So
you're right.
far, we'll see what happens. Look, Triple H isn't giving up on either one of them. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes. But right now, I mean, am I really supposed to take either one of them seriously compared to what the Bloodline was a year ago, or compared to what Judgment Day was even 7 months ago? Hard for me to say that.
yeah. absolutely.
But
Uh,
Gunther,
yes,
he is now the world heavyweight champion, and he's a dick.
is it great?
He's really turned a corner with his heel persona. He was belittling Jey Uso, belittling Damian Priest to the point they actually built a pretty good feud that flew under the radar, but wound up delivering the best match at SummerSlam for my money.
Yeah,
And Damian Priest really got the crowd behind him in a big, big way during this feud,
yeah.
continues to do so. And now Gunther, guess what? He's challenging Randy Orton, RKO, at Bash in Berlin. And he comes out and he's saying mean things, going after Randy Orton's family, calling Randy Orton a screw up. It's a pretty darn good screw up to be a 14-time world champion, though.
Yeah, the audacity.
I was like, a screw up? You
Screw
could
up.
have been.
You're so successful.
It's so horrible how there's only one person that ever had more WWE championships than you. You know, because most of Flair's championships were in WCW, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, should they even count? I'm just kidding, Nature Boy.
What do you
Let
think?
me. You don't tell me you are Silicon Steve, dickhead.
And
Steve, the
and he'd have
dickhead.
a point on that one, actually. I'd probably agree with Flair on that one. Um, yeah, man. But Gunther's just the total package, man. Just the way he looks, the way he talks, the way he like talks down to the crowd, and just whoever's in front of them there, he's not afraid of anybody. This guy is the throwback. Is a throwback. He's the present. He's the future. It's it's a it's really great to see. And this is one of those careers that might be really, like really special, especially in terms of WWE history.
Yeah, and you look at how he's built his body, not just his body of work, but his physical body. You know,
Yeah.
this guy was big and fat and disgusting blob, similar to me. But he's taller and a good wrestler, and he just beats the living hell out of you. But he's putting so much work to become everything he has become, and now, yeah, he carries the title with that prestige. The word he likes to use is that prestige. He carries it similar to how a Ric Flair would used to carry it in
Yeah.
terms of this is the guy. The guy carrying this title is the man. No doubt about it. I think he's going to have a good match with Randy Orton to get him going. You just wonder. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but where are we going to be at WrestleMania time with the World Heavyweight Championship? Is Gunther still going to be the champion? Is John Cena going to be the champion? Ooh, I don't know. But right now, you're going to see Gunther on. I just would rather have Gunther have a really great long reign, but I don't think it's in the cards with everything you got to do for WrestleMania. I just don't
Who do you
know.
think's who do you think's more apt to lose the title before WrestleMania? Gunther or Cody?
Both. I think, but if I had to
Ooh.
pick one, I would say Gunther for sure.
See, I'd say Cody.
Does Gunther go into WrestleMania as the champion? I don't think he does. Unless that's
I,
who Cena beats.
I think Gunther I think Gunther's a champ at WrestleMania.
You would think so, but I don't know. You would think so, but I just don't like the booking. I think they're going to try to put another title on Cena and get him to beat Flair. I really believe that. And I also know Randy Orton has said it on a couple different occasions that he wanted to have John Cena at WrestleMania one time. They never faced each other at WrestleMania. And I think it would be interesting if Cena wins his 17th, maybe in an elimination chamber, maybe somehow he beats Gunther by the grace of God. And then you have John Cena and Randy Orton. Randy Orton wins his 15th, Cena wins 17, and then we're off to the races there. But I don't
How
know.
many month how many months has Cena worked?
I think he's coming back around Survivor Series, but he's going to be at he might just be coming back for the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and WrestleMania. Those are the three I think he mentioned. I think he
Okay.
might have mentioned Survivor Series too, though.
Okay.
So I think he
Yeah,
said this is going to be his last Survivor Series. This is going to be his last Royal Rumble, his last Elimination Chamber, and last WrestleMania. I heard a rumor. I don't know if he said it, but he said that his last performance is going to be in December of 2025. The only thing that could be is that salute to the troops, which I know has been very important to him over his career. He's probably done more salute to the troops than anybody. So that
Yeah,
might be his last performance next year. But I didn't see that quote. That could just been another stupid internet rumor. But um, I just don't know how Triple H has so many avenues he can go, and it's exciting. And I haven't seen WWE this exciting where you can go in so many different routes. You could
yeah,
have CM Punk, Seth Rollins fight for that world title.
yeah.
How does CM Punk get his main event? Stone Cold.
Mm.
That would be the only other way, unless CM Punk fights for a world championship.
Yeah, I don't. It's a. I don't know, man. It's an embarrassment of wealth because they, especially baby faces. Look how many they have. It's crazy.
I think LA Knight needs to turn heel soon too. Go to Raw, turn heel.
Raw's going to be the show that everyone is going to want to be on.
Oh my God, yeah. Netflix. I mean, starting in a couple weeks,
Yeah,
SmackDown's just the SmackDown's going to be the B jerk off show on USA again.
yeah, it is. It's crazy.
It was the marquee show for a couple years. Now it's going to go back to Raw. I mean, Netflix is going to be amazing. It's just so interesting where you go, and there you can and I really hope Gunther has a decent run, but it looks like that this title is the Workers' Championship, meaning it probably will not will probably change hands a little bit more rapidly than the Universal title. But I don't know. I
Who
don't know
who are
how
the top? Who are the top three opponents for Gunther that you'd like to see? Hate to put you in a spot, but it just
Oh, it's a good one though.
uh,
I'd honestly, I think another Drew McIntyre one-on-one match would be fantastic. I think a CM Punk, I mean, CM Punk and Gunther would draw. I mean,
yeah.
you put those two in with the microphone. Gunther can more than hold his own in that instance.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's making fun of CM Punk's body and his CM Punk's
Oh yeah.
career. I mean, so I would put Punk, McIntyre, and I would honestly suggest seeing Seth Rollins and Gunther. I mean, imagine that classic.
He'd actually be my number one for that feud because Gunther would just have a field day with what he's wearing and just like toe the line of just like the way he's berating him. And then when we finally get to that match, man, that would be a work of art.
Yeah, so those are the three that I would say on on Raw for sure.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, is an indictment of everything I ever said about CM Punk since I'm bringing him up. But hey, look, if the guy can put on performances and continue to work, God bless him. But those are the programs you love to see, and you know Gunther's going to go out there and have a great match, no matter who it is with, because he's one.
yeah,
When you say ring general,
yeah,
you talk about a guy that can go out and have a great match with a broomstick. Like a Flair
yeah,
could do that. Ricky Steamboat can do that. AJ Styles could do that. Kenny Omega. You know, Hogan couldn't. Cody Rhodes can't. Roman can't. But these guys can, and Gunther is on that level of worker where he can have a really good match with pretty much anybody. And again, he made Damian Priest look better than anyone else did the entire time Damian Priest was world champion. Of course, Damian Priest didn't have two bad botches like he did and CM Punk didn't
yeah,
interfere for him.
yeah. But yeah, it just the legacy that this guy could have is just something special, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. I wouldn't have him drop the title like a couple years, me personally, honestly, man. Like I would have him have a nice run with it.
Did you see the statistic? Is his career in WWE, he's been a
Yes,
75% of the time he's been a champion.
exactly.
The,
Yeah.
he was
And
the UK champion,
yep, NXT UK. Yep.
and then he was what was he? Was he an NXT champ too? He was an NXT
Yeah.
champ for a hot second.
Yep.
And then he comes up, wins the IC title almost immediately on the main roster. Doesn't have it for what, 4 months, and now he's a champion again.
Yes.
So yeah,
Amazing.
Gunther. And the thing about Gunther is that everyone loves him. Like all the smart marks on the internet who love in ring performing more than anything, and even the people that love AEW, like the AEW diehards that hate everything WWE does, they'll even come out and say Gunther's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Gunther kind of transcends. He gets the WWE normal WWE universe fan to love him, but he also has the internet wrestling fan, the smart mark, if you will, really love him as well. So he has that crossover, and he's a great heel, and I think he's turned a corner with his heel persona, which I think is going to serve him very, very well. And he's certainly beaten Randy Orton in Berlin.
Oh, 100%. I mean, bet the house on that, man. And it's going to be a good match, really good match. Plus, Orton has the size to go toe to toe with him, and has that great finisher. However, Gunther's going to find a way, and when he pins Randy Orton in Berlin, man, that place is going to go crazy.
He's not even from Germany, though. He
He's
pulled a
from
Hitler.
Austria. Wow.
Where was Hitler born?
I know.
Where was Gunther born?
Very similar region.
And someone brought that up to Gunther on Twitter, and Gunther said he just retweeted it with a WTF comparison to Hitler. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And anytime you hear an interview with him, too, he's just a class act. If you hear him like a shoot interview, really good guy, down to earth wrestler.
Did you see one of the ECW match that he gave a lot of credit to?
It was like Balls Mahoney or somebody. It was weird.
Mike Awesome versus Tanaka.
That's what it was. And those matches were great.
Awesome matches. If you want to get to the heart and soul of ECW, that has to be within the top 3 matches you got to go and see. And for Gunther to put a spotlight on there, I was like, yeah. I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about entirely, and I admire the fact that he actually went and even mentioned it, because the first time I saw that match, I was blown away. The size of those two guys, how they laid it in there. Holy crap, that was an incredible match.
You actually, at the time, told me how good the match was because I didn't see it live. He's like, "Yo, dude, you got to watch this. You got to watch. You were putting that match over, and then I went back and watched it, and it was, and you were right. I knew it was somebody who was like, not a typical ECW like legend. And Mike Awesome had a nice little run, but it's not like he was an ECW original. He was only there for a cup of coffee. He wound up losing the ECW championship to a WWE signed Taz, which was a whole weird part of this situation.
Very weird.
And then he goes and starts banging fat chicks on WCW television.
The fat chick Thriller.
Wow. I don't know what's more offensive, that or the lesbians that the WWE had. They had a tag team They had a women's tag team that were just lesbians, and that was their name. The Lesbians.
Pritchard was working overtime on that name.
Oh my God. Now they're called, what are they called now?
Oh, the something collective.
I like that stat, but they got to stop, especially Zoe Starks. They got to stop botching every pay-per-view.
What was it? Pure Energy Collective or something?
I don't know. It was a little weird, little convoluted.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's all good. Whatever. I think they could have a really good run in a good feud with almost any other tag team in the women's division. Jade Cargill continues to show a lot of warts. So she's not quite as over as I think a lot of people thought she was going to be. I mean, that was her big criticism even in AEW. So I was going to say Bianca and Jade, but I think they should just cut the cable on that one, have Jade turn on her like we know she's going to, and hopefully Bianca can carry her in the single match they have at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
Pretty much, right? So
yeah, 100%.
And it keeps Bianca busy, keeps her kind of away from the world championship. But I'd like to see Bianca get back there because I think the division is a little bit stronger because she's such a good talent. Nia Jax is not having great match after great match either. She should not be.
Are you kidding me? And she's safe too. She's safer than the Miz.
Miz is a safe guy.
Very safe.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, the Gunther's I'm with you on Gunther. And so that's what we're going to talk about WWE this week.